to the Mind Body Podcast, your rebellious podcast with me, your host, Maria, where it is all about a strong body, calm mind, healing, and fully living. And our special guest today is Rachel Fleischman. Hello, Rachel. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Maria. It's lovely to see you. I'm really excited to be with you today.
Me too. I can't wait to get this conversation going based on our couple of sentences exchanged before this.
Great.
Rachel, so let's cover you're a social worker, you're a psychotherapist, you're an expressive arts therapist. That was ooh, that's what I want to know more about. Speaker, I mean, you do a lot of great things. And give us an opportunity to get to know you. Who is the real Rachel? Give us 3 words that describe you and a little bit of a backstory behind each.
I am curious, I am devoted, and I am sloppy. Curious, devoted, and sloppy.
All right, then. Can we start in reverse order and give us the backstory behind sloppy?
Yeah, well, we have an American expression of being slapdash. Slapdash means you just kind of grab it. You just kind of like my hair, you just kind of do it. You just pat it dry. It's a way of kind of grabbing my purse when I'm leaving the house. It's a way of at times making writing errors when I'm spelling errors. It's a way of doing too many things at once, but it's not the same as ADD or ADHD. It means I am the opposite of a perfectionist. I do things I care tremendously about my work. So this isn't when I'm with clients or students that I'm slapdash, but in my personal life, when I'm making my bed or making dinner for you, it will be a little bit messy and it will be delicious and it will be done with a lot of improvisation in the moment. That's the truth.
You know what? There is so much power. Well, speaking from somebody who is an ex-perfectionist and everything had to be perfect when you fix that, I am oh, I am so jealous of people like you who can just let go. Let me tell you, that letting go thing, I have been working on it for a while. And I just attended the seminar and it's amazing. My mentors are you gotta let go. And I'm more?
More?
How much more letting go do I need to do? I'm my desk is a mess. Is that letting go? Does that count?
So, it all counts. It all counts. It's all beautiful. And listen, we're wired in our own way. And we're wired in our own way. And I love my friends who are deeply organized. And I look around at their homes to get ideas for myself because we can all kind of maneuver with one another. And I loved reading your story and feeling the energy of, we have many things in common, and which are a little bit a part of my healing path. We both lost our fathers really young, you and me. You were 19.
Yeah.
You were 19 and I was 25. You know what else we have in common that's really sad and empowering? We both have moms who don't drive.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
How is that?
My parents weren't together anymore. My dad was alone when he died, when he was dying, excuse me. So I was the caregiver though. So my mom not driving is a little bit, she wasn't still with my dad, but it has posed an issue in my life. But I also was the caregiver. You were the other when you moved to the States. You have an accent, you're tall, beautiful, and blonde. They'll make fun of anything, people. Humans will make fun of anything. Your beauty could have been made fun of. Your gorgeous butt, you wrote, was made fun of. So, people will find whatever is different. And my difference was being a Jew, a Jewish girl in an Irish Catholic and Black neighborhood, which was in no way am I comparing that to moving to another country, another culture, another economy, another language. But I think we both have known being the other. We both have known early loss. I don't know if we would have been friends. You were on the high track. You were a straight A student. Remember I said I was sloppy. So I was cutting school, not to be a bad girl, but I was dealing with my own mental health issues. Not grief yet, but grief around my parents' failed marriage, grief around my own disinterest in school. So I mean, I have so much to share with your listeners, but I want to keep it tight. So that's a little bit of my kind of journey to bliss counseling and Dance Your Bliss. Being other has been a gift for me. Feeling other means I know how to help people who have felt othered in lots of ways.
And you know what? Isn't it empowering when you and like I'll use now the let go from well, they kind of go together symbolically, right? The perfectionism has a lot to do with you not being who you really are, because you have to fit in that box, right?
Yes.
Versus
Yes.
letting go and then using that journey to empower others to say, hey, you know what? It's okay to be that nerd with the big butt, own your big ass,
Oh, yeah.
like, yes, like show it off, this is who I am. This is what I am. And you know what? If you don't like me, too bad. That's okay. I
Yes.
don't take it personally.
Yes.
But there is definitely empowerment into, and I do think I was actually talking to somebody else earlier this week. We were talking about that same thing, and he said, me not fitting in taught me resilience.
Yes.
And I think there is truth to that.
Massive resilience.
Yeah.
And creativity. And the curiosity, what was it? I was curious, I was loyal, and I'm sloppy. That curiosity is a gift I have forevermore. You cannot be a healer. You cannot be doing the work you're doing or I'm doing without deep curiosity for every person who we meet. I joke that I'm like a Sherlock Holmes, like the great detective. I'm a Sherlock Holmes of the heart. So there is great resilience. One thing I wanted to say to the beautiful experience of like it or lump it, I want to own my big butt, is I am both heartbroken and hopeful for the young people, because when you and I were teenagers, we weren't, I don't know, really ready to like it or lump it. Our brains were still developing. We wanted to at times fit in. We wanted to feel cute, cool, whatever. I am seeing a beautiful trend. I hope it's more than a trend, but a constant of young girls owning their body, owning the changing of it, and so forth. So I'm excited about that. I've been moving and dancing with people for I've been dancing my whole life. One thing you should know about me is I'm a good dancer. I'm not a great dancer. So dancing has never been about perfection, but it is about the great joy of movement, and it has been a game changer for me.
Yeah.
So every dance workshop I teach, I have had people in wheelchairs. I have had people who are ex-gymnasts and ex-ballerinas. And I've had people who are strong yogis who are, pushing it. And then I have the engineers who go, I might have to run out because I think I'm going to hate this. And I say, you're my people too. So the expressive arts therapy that you spoke to is, just to give it a quick definition, it's using some of the expressive arts, dance, writing, drawing, poetry, and singing, probably some others, to kind of stir the pot of how we can be in this great world of improvisation, creative expression, and liking ourselves. I have used some poetry in my workshops, but mostly my framework is dance, movement, drawing, and writing. We cycle, and we cycle through those three till you feel completely without an inner critic, which is so liberating. And you leave a workshop, some are 45 minutes these days, I got to be real tight and right, and others could be a week long, where you leave that feeling cleansed, you feel free, you feel de-stressed, of course, until the next stressor. And then you come back to, what are the tools? What did I get from Maria from Pilates? What's my posture? Can I move my shoulders back? Can I breathe deeply? Can I work my core? In the same way, we are working those creative expressions. And by the way, everybody can draw, write, and dance and sing. I was shamed by teachers immediately about singing. That was a big shame I got. Complete bullcrap. I sing beautifully, but when you tell me not to sing, my singing will never improve. So I'm of the belief that we're all great artists. I saw you use a quote from Julia Cameron's work in The Artist's Way. I've studied with her, love her.
Love her.
Everyone should get that book, Maria. Everyone should get that. We all have it, but we should read it too.
You should read it, and you should do the work that comes with it.
And you should do the work.
That's the key part,
and
right?
You should do the work.
And and she promotes journaling, which is writing, which I'm a huge fan of. And I will tell you, I love to dance. I just started taking dance lessons, ballroom dancing lessons, and I will tell you, the first lesson I took, I met my one of my besties for dinner after that, and she was like, I don't know what's up with your vibes, but she's like, it's like, the queen entered the room or something like that. She's everybody. Right. And I was, what it was? It was happiness, which I'm sure you can relate to. It was just like, I am being me, and this is how I move. Is it perfect? No, absolutely not. But I think that's what you're talking about. It's that freedom to, what? I'm a terrible singer. I cannot sing, but you know what? I love to sing.
Please sing. Yeah.
You know, you probably don't want to be subjected to my singing, but I enjoy it. I embrace it. And you know what? When I sing and dance, it's like I am on stage performing and I don't
Right.
care. And I
Right.
have fun. And it's
Yeah.
liberating. And you know, one of the principles of
Liberating.
Pilates is flow. And what is flow? It's
Yeah.
letting go, right? You're having that strength and mobility, and your body's feeling good, and you're in alignment. And you know, that's not just
Yes.
physical alignment,
Mm,
because when we
right.
flow, it's the mental alignment, it's the
Yes. Yes.
emotional alignment,
Yes.
spiritual alignment, right? Whatever is right for you, not for you,
Yes.
not for me, but
Yes.
for each and every one of us as an individual. And it's empowering.
Yes. I want to ask a question for you, which then you can ask of me.
Sure.
If you wish from me, you could gift your listeners, your audience, Maria's audience, with some specific delicious knowledge that I might have, or some, I forgive the term gift that I might have. What do you notice? They're listening to you, they're following you. Some of them are ex-perfectionists. Some of them may be your students. Some of them are following you because they're desperately trying to get out of that corporate job. Or maybe they love that corporate job and they can't get out, but they want to add deliciousness to their worlds. Is there anything, I'm so curious because I have many different kind of places to go, but I want to know what your listeners need. If you think about that, that I could give, if that's an okay question for
Of
me to
course,
ask you.
it's an okay question. So I'm going to take myself back to where I was. And I
Yeah.
was very successful based
Yes.
on the societal expectations of what success means. But I was highly stressed. I was highly anxious. I was very rigid.
Mm-hmm.
There was no flow. And it was scary to be who I am because I always got feedback. Oh, you're too loud, or you're too this, or you're too nerdy, or you're too this, you're too skinny, you're too big. Like it was never
Oh, yeah.
right? So if you're talking to somebody like that, who are like, some people really don't know who they are, right? Because they're so conditioned. And I will tell you, when I started my journey, I was like, holy cow, how can I be 40 years old and not know who I am?
Right.
What do you tell to somebody like, how would, let's take dance or any one of the techniques that you use?
Yeah.
Why should they use it? How should they try it?
Yes. Oh gosh, that's so tender. And I just wanted to respond to you're too much. That I think women people are total like you're too much, you're too loud, it's funny, you're too big, you're too small, you're too dark, you're too light, you're too much, you're too quiet, you're too loud.
Yep.
Can we go to the journaling page without editing and just free write, like Julia Cameron says, first thing in the morning? If that feels oppressive, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you, these are a couple things I would say to people, and they can jot these down as they're listening and then go, okay, what's my favorite? Can you go for a walk without at times a phone and just listen to birds and listen to sounds and listen to nature and see what moves through you? And then can you find your favorite expression of movement? It may be dance, but I also want to be clear that that is so not everybody's jam. It happens to be my jam. I cannot not dance. Can you find that physical expression and move it through you every day for a little bit, whether it's Pilates, dance, golf, gardening counts, right? Whatever it is. And notice then you start to get addicted to it. You want more of it. And the more you're lighting up your body through movement, there's so much intelligence in you. There's less inner critic because the lifestyle you had was very measured, deeply overscheduled. I'm sure we're both overscheduled now, but it's doing stuff we love, right?
Different, yeah.
There wasn't time for the letting go, for the lying under the apple tree. And we know that as creatives, we know that we need that downtime. So I would say to those people, what is your delicious downtime? And if it like, could it be sacred journaling? Could it be walking? If that feels too passive, still, I'd ask you, what is your sacred downtime? We need that dreaminess. And for me, one of my self-care secrets is the 18-minute nap. I try to do an 18-minute nap every day. Why 18 minutes? Just keep it tight and right. I don't want to go into deep sleep. If I go down for 40 minutes or more, there's a likelihood I go into deep sleep. And if I go into deep sleep, oh boy, it's going to be grogginess when I wake up. Can you let your body come into that relaxation? I'm a big believer in meditation, but not in the kind necessarily where you have only quiet. You want to be with some inspiration. So I lead a lot of guided meditation on my retreats that people go into altered states. I've never done and probably never will do hallucinogenics because I go into those altered states through dance and movement. No judgment around hallucinogenics. I just mention it because they can be very useful. But you will see, if you use the right guided meditation for yourself, a deep letting go. And there will be tears when we come into that self-expression and freedom. So I would say the journaling, walking, restfulness, napping, curiosity, and definitely making art in a way that can be, even if it's drawing in your non-dominant hand, which is hard, but something where there isn't attention to how will this turn out? Something that is utterly and completely playful. We don't play enough, do we?
No. Do you know what? Yesterday I woke up thinking, oh, I feel like being playful. Whatever that means for you, because again, for each one of us, the definition of playful is different. For you might be dancing, for me might be Pilates or going for a run or going for a walk.
Right, sure.
But we
sure.
forget to be playful. And there is that inner child within us that craves that.
That's
and
right.
that play fuels us. Just like one, and I do have to say, I'm very much on the same page with the, I would call them mindfulness techniques or inner connection techniques that you mentioned. I'm a huge fan of movement. I love journaling. I do tell people it's not for everybody, but
that's right. That's right.
It's powerful. And I can't tell you how many people are like, Maria, I don't meditate, I don't journal. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I love journaling, because it's a process, and it takes even to feel free to write on a piece of page, because people are like, well, I don't know who is going to read it. Well, my spelling is not right. It's like, rip it, destroy it. It's about just dumping anything that's in your head, and you just see what comes out, right? Napping, I do have to tell you, I love power naps. Like 18 minutes, mine are 10 to 15 minutes. That's my rule. So,
wow, nice and short. Good.
Yes, that is my power nap rule. I love them when I can squeeze them. I do squeeze them. So definitely a fan. And I also think the stereotype around meditations, I think a lot of people think you have to sit this way, you have to have a Buddha figure in front of you.
Oh my
and
God,
I don't know what about that. And I tell them, meditation is, you can meditate while you're going for a walk. It's all about being present in the current moment.
Yes.
Listen to, like you said, listen to the birds, look at the leaves, look at the wind, right?
We're missing so much beauty that's around us. We're missing so much beauty because we're always jumping to the next thing. My wonderful teacher, Tara Brach, beautiful psychologist, writer, and meditation teacher, says we're spending so much time like life is a problem to be fixed instead of a mystery, to be, experienced, enjoyed, played with. So there's something about present. In some ways, if we work too much, we are not present. We are very rarely right here in the moment. I do love that there's a real uptick I'm noticing in people playing with crafts. And that's been even since pre-pandemic, puzzles, knitting, a lot of these books on how to be, and they use the different cultures, like the Scandinavian word hygge, I think it is Hygge, how to relax. That's really the American problem. How do we relax?
Yes, you're right. And, even with the phones, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because I see people walking. I do have to say,
I've done it.
It's like, no, like, put it away. Just enjoy what's happening around you. And I will tell you, sometimes my best thing is put the earpieces on, put my music on, and just go. And I love my outdoor times. And sometimes it's a run, sometimes it's a walk. Sometimes it's taking a conference call, and that's a little bit different because I'm working. But
that's great, though. That's great.
Just so that I can be outside, just so I can be moving my body instead of
absolutely.
But it's powerful. And the other thing I'll tell you, because I kind of feel like I have crossed that bridge, right? It's not that I have studied this and now I'm teaching it. I have gone through that bridge from the highly stressed, anxious person to where I am today. And I know the difference. I was not even aware of how much I was missing, because I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know there was a difference into how we can live. And to what you're saying, the way we live so boxed, the way we live so rushed. I would tell you, the being rushed is something I'm continuously working on, because my thing is like, how many things can I squeeze in the 10 minutes that I have? And then I'm rushing and stressing. So now I'm like, okay, no, you don't have to start this new task. Give yourself 10 minutes. And I'll just lie down and just be present for 10 minutes before the next client comes.
I'm still working on that. I own my stuff, and I am still working on that.
Yeah. It's a process. And I think that's also very important to know, that you're not going to go from not having those habits to overnight doing an hour and a half of self-care, of meditation and walking or anything like that. But start small and start seeing how that's altering your state.
Beautiful.
I call that the difference between existing and living, because that quote was beautiful. Life is to be enjoyed, not to be rushed through.
Yes. Yes. I think also reading is a great example, and audiobooks, and the way we can take things in. One thing that I noticed I started doing that really worried me is listening to a podcast or something and like speeding it up a little bit. Have we all done this, where you're on YouTube and you're listening to something or watching something, and I'm speeding it and I'm going, oh my God, I'm speeding through it. Part of it I want to mention to your listeners, and we can all have feelings about this, is we are receiving so much stimuli in one day through our little pocket computers, our phones, and through our TV sets. We don't have that, but our computers, and through all of our devices. Imagine our ancestors and how much stimuli, maybe the newspaper, maybe the people they saw at the market, maybe the people they saw, relatives sitting down for dinner, but our wonderful brains aren't really set up to take in and take in and take in. So I'm curious about, and I'm still finding this, that happy space between being productive and doing right by myself. I live in a very expensive city of San Francisco, and I want to stay here. And so working a lot, and also rest. That is regrowth. Our rest every night and our little naps is a healing process. So I mentioned about the stimuli because I both love it and hate it. And I'm really curious about, like everything, turning it off. We all need to turn it off sometimes.
But tell me if you can relate to that. We all fall into the trouble. I've got two. If you see my desk and how many sticky notes I have here, it's not fun. However, I have to be intentional to say, I will step outside and I'll go for a walk. I'll stop and I'll do my 20 minutes of Pilates. And every time I make that a priority, my concentration is better, my focus is better, my productivity is better, versus I'm in that state of overwhelmed where I'm like, I don't even know where to start. And then I can't focus. I'm constantly checking this, checking that, checking this. And at the end of the day, you're like, whoa, I have not done anything. So that intention of self-care, I think, carries over through your day, so that you can be more intentional about your day rather than going, squirrel, attention.
Yes. For me, a lot happens in the breath, in Pilates, in yoga, in movement practice. We're really being, I love that. We're really being minded to breathe. We're being reminded to breathe. And I ask all of my clients and my students to do different breathing practices that I think I know are really good at, getting my my parasympathetic nervous system. So maybe we'll do one together. We'll do an experiential, and your listeners can take it in too. I like to let my hand rest on my belly and my heart. And my hope is, when I do this, that it's my belly pooching out, that I'm not just breathing in my chest, that I'm breathing in the belly. So I rest a hand on the belly and the heart. And right now it's chest breathing, but that's okay. I can feel that because I have a lift in my chest, and I can let my eyes close, but it can be either way, open or closed. And I notice my shoulders without judgment. And we'll say together, we'll breathe in the deepest 3 breaths of the whole day, just really deep. And we'll hold it at the top note. And then I like to exhale like I'm blowing out bubbles through a straw or blowing out birthday candles. And then we'll breathe in again. And then we'll hold it. And again. And now we'll just have a couple of deep breaths in our own time, and we'll let both hands rest on the heart. And we'll just feel into the architecture of the heart space today. What's in my heart today? As we breathe in and breathe out and let go. Does the heart feel tight, squeezed, curious, open, playful, stressed? Sending some precious self-compassion into that heart space today. Feeling the temperature on the skin, the light through the eyelids. Sensations around us, sounds around us. Breathing in a golden glow of peace and calm from the top of the head all the way down to the tips of the toes. Cascading in that peace and calm as we take a couple more deep, lovely breaths together. Again, sending in, almost massaging in that self-compassion, that precious compassion through our heart space. Send that out to the world. Yeah. And then I like to kind of break my arms open and stretch a little bit and have a moment to unwind. And, just like that centers me a lot. And I need to do that a lot. And if I'm working,
and how easy was that? Just
isn't it? It's really easy.
Like 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
So quick.
You feel completely different. You feel so rejuvenated.
So quick. Yes.
Calmer,
yeah.
right?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Also the listening. And I'll say to folks, it's okay if you feel a little sleepy or checked out. And when we really do the diaphragmatic breathing, I'm like, you might feel a little lightheaded. That's okay. This is new. Belly breathing is new. We are stressed animals. And a lot of the time, I mean, a non-stressed animal you'll see, or a baby is breathing down here, but we breathe up here. So taking that moment is so sacred. Yeah.
It's very interesting because in Pilates, and that's a whole other conversation, but we do lateral breathing. So we expand. But you also see the same things where people get lightheaded because we're not used to deep breaths.
Yes.
So when you breathe a lot of breath and a lot of oxygen into the body, sometimes people are like, whoa.
Yes.
Because we do this, right? So much tension, we don't get enough oxygen.
Right.
So
Right.
that was so beautiful. Thank you for the treat, Rachel. The treat. Hope everybody enjoyed that. All right, Rachel, we got to wrap up. I can't go without you telling us, what is your definition of rebellious?
Oh gosh. And I looked it up and I was playing around with that word, a rebellious or rebelliousness or rebel, great word. I should have looked up the root. I didn't look up the root of rebel and rebellious, but for me, it's listening to my inner voice, my knowing voice with curiosity and love and compassion and doing what it says and not the voices around me, not the critic. It's listening to that and just being with it. If I'm hungry and I'm with a bunch of people where it's not, they're playing that they don't eat, I eat. Like, I just don't care. You know what I mean? It's a realness that moves through me. It courses through my veins. Rebellious for me is let yourself be real and honest and true. That's magical to me.
It is magical. And I'll tell you, it's very closely to where the company name came from, because I got so much feedback on like, you're crazy to do this. Why are you doing this? So I wanted a name that really reflected my truth. And now it's my purpose and passion to elevate others to be their true selves, right? It's almost to give them permission and a safe space. And I love the food example, because I will tell you, I'm that girl. I love to eat. I am a foodie. And sometimes I'll go and people are like, you eat this? And I'm like, yes, I do. Not all the time, but yes, I do, so
enjoy it.
About balance and moderation and enjoying, right? But I'm not like hardcore of don't do this, don't do that. If I enjoy something, and I do have
yes,
like, sugar is my thing. So ice cream, I like life without
savor it. Life is delicious. Right? It's meant to be eaten. It's meant to be experienced. I have loved connecting with you. I'd like to purchase a rebellious tank. Can I ask, do you sell them?
Rebellious, yeah. So you know what? The second guest who has said that. So I love that. I mean, rebels attract rebels. So I love that. Rachel, such a joy, such great energy. I appreciate you being here and sharing your sparkle, and your sloppiness. I love it. It's contagious.
Bring it.
Bring
the sloppiness. Bring it.
Sparkles all around. Rachel, where can people find you? What's the best place for people?
Sure. A couple of websites, rachelfleischman.com or dancingyourbliss.com. And then Bliss Counseling. That's my psychotherapy. Both sites talk to each other, if you will. And Rachel Fleischman is not easy to spell, so have fun with that. Good luck. But you can do it. You can find me there. Again, or dancingyourbliss.com or Bliss Counseling. Easy enough to find me. Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Rachel. Rebels, thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, certainly ask those. Do hope you enjoyed that. Do hope you feel restored. And of course, do not forget to stay rebellious. See you next time, guys. Can't get enough of those rebellious conversations? Do make sure you subscribe, like, and share with your friends.